Welcome to Staring to the Abyss. I'm your host, Witcher Gerlach, who has lost my son recently. I'm trying to find him. And with me, as always, is Matt Brandenburg.
I am back to tell you the power of magic.
And with me, as always, as well, is Vitlame Mist.
Honestly, I'm just here wanting meat.
And today we are going to talk about the story Pain Wins, which you can read on the Old Moon Quarterly website. And it is by, I gotta get my page back up, Sasha Brown. Which,
yes.
Old Moon Quarterly rules. I don't know if you guys have read this magazine before or not. Or journal, I should say. But it's all like sword and sorcery stuff.
Yeah, this looks awesome. I have not. This was the first story I read in this, and I'm sold. I'm in it.
I kind of love how sword and sorcery is making a comeback a little bit. I don't know if you guys have noticed that.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
no,
but it's great to see sword and sorcery kind of making a comeback. Because this shit is fun.
Yeah, it's fun to
simple.
Like think about. It is simple,
it's simple. It's fun. It reminds me of old pulpy fantasy, like Elric Melbourne and like old Conan the Barbarian stories, or just on all that fun, like nothing's complicated. It's easy to read. It's easy to get into. It's entertaining before it's anything else. And
this one definitely had like a Conan the Barbarian vibe.
It did have a Conan the Barbarian vibe to it, and I liked how gritty it was.
Yeah.
It was gritty, but it wasn't like super gritty. It was like just enough to like you can feel that grime. And even though it's simple, just the details that are in the story were impressive.
Mm-hmm. You get a lot. You get a lot in this little story. It's cool.
You get a lot in this little story. I'd agree with that, Matt. But before we dive into this, I think we should go through our media recommendation, which we have to trim a bit shorter. So apologies to our audience about our podcast getting cut short, but we're working on it, and we'll be a bit more brief this time around. So there's like really two things I want to get out of the way, and then I'll pass it on just to kind of keep this going. First, I beat Death Stranding 2.
Oh, wow. You did?
I did.
And how was it?
Hideo
Without
Kojima
spoilers.
has fucking done it again. I'm not going to spoil. The ending of this game is some of the most absurd video game bullshit I've ever played in my life, and that's a compliment.
You are carrying a baby in a post-apocalyptic world there, wearing a suit, and you're carrying deliveries. So yeah, that makes sense. It is fucked up and weird.
I'll put it this way. This is the least spoiled way I can get into the ending, okay? The final boss battle of the game is an homage to Metal Gear Solid 1. And it is a battle between your character, Sam Bridges, and the antagonist, Higgs, played by Troy Baker, who I think has finally outperformed his Joel performance with this game. And you are fighting on the back of this giant monster made of tar. And it is an electric guitar duel where you're swinging electric guitars at each other that shoot out electricity and also work as flamethrowers and also double as axes.
But they don't play them? You don't play the guitar?
No, they do play them. They do play them like a guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And there's actually a part in the final boss battle where you have a shred-off against each other. And they're
totally
both
makes
shredding
sense.
on their guitars. I'm not even
Yeah,
joking.
no, you've sold me now on the fucked up weird shit now. Jesus.
like it is bizarre. But the game story is also like really beautiful. Like, I know people give Kojima a lot of shit for his storytelling. I've never felt that way about his storytelling, but I also feel that a lot of people who do give him shit for his stories are Americans who don't read Japanese stories or watch Japanese movies. And he's telling distinctly Japanese stories using a Western medium. And so the way he writes his stories, it feels like he's beating you over the head with its themes and what he's trying to say. But if you've ever read like a Japanese novel, that's kind of usually what happens a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't understand like that's culturally how they tend to tell and write stories over in Japan. And also like in China and other places as well. And so this story does that a lot, but what this game does better than the first game, its story is better, it's a bit more streamlined, the game is optimized like I've seen no other game. Like, you have a PS5, right, Vitlame?
Yeah.
Did you play Final Fantasy 16?
No, I'm not that much into Final Fantasy.
Okay, no, I use this as an example because it's a good optimization for PS5. Like, Final Fantasy 16 on PS5 is an incredibly optimized game. And what I mean by that is the PS5 is fast as fuck. It is a very fast console. And when people know how to program games for it, it's really impressive. So like Final Fantasy 16, for example, when you launch that game and you turn it on and you press either new game or you press continue or load game, in 1 second, the whole game's loaded. This game, it's instantaneous. As soon as you press continue, the game's on. There's no loading. It just launches it instantly, right away. The whole game, open world, everything, right away. No loading screen. And, like, that's impressive on its own, but this game is gorgeous. The graphics are some of the best graphics I've ever seen. It's just a really incredible experience for a game that's core gameplay mechanic is delivering packages. Because that's really what you're doing. You're trying to connect the continent of Australia by delivering packages to people and linking them to a internet style network to connect the continent together.
Amazing.
It is bonkers and wild in the best way possible, and the story of the game is surprisingly emotional as it goes through, and the ending was perfect. Like, this game is now my favorite game of the year. And the only other thing I'll get into to keep this moving is I saw Eddington yesterday, which we were talking about before the podcast started, which is Ari Aster's new COVID Western. And this movie's a fucking trip. Like, essentially the plot is you have this New Mexico town in May of 2020. And Matt, I'm pretty sure you remember May of 2020 very well, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I'm assuming most of us do.
Most of us do, especially in America, right? Because we were full lockdown. While the full lockdown was happening, you had the George Floyd protests. You had all this crazy shit happening while we're locked inside, hooked on our computer screens and our social media feeds that are making us anxious and paranoid. And this is the environment Ari Aster decided to tell his story. And the story is essentially you have a small New Mexico town, and they're run by a liberal mayor, played by Pedro Pascal, and the main character is the sheriff, who's played by Joaquin Phoenix, who is an anti-masker. And at the start of the movie, there's a older man in the town who's being refused entry to a supermarket because he refuses to put a mask on. And Joaquin Phoenix, his character, is angry at how they're treating this person because he himself has asthma. And when he is wearing his mask, he says it's too hard for him to breathe due to his asthma, and that we should be more kinder or give people more grace. And everybody else is more angry at him for letting this man shop at the supermarket. And he feels that these people are being too cruel, especially the mayor, when there's no law saying that they have to wear their mask. So he decides to run for mayor. And he has no policies. He just doesn't like the fact that people have to wear masks, and that's why he wants to run for mayor. Like that's his campaign. And
nice.
And we kind of watch this town as it falls apart from the inside during the COVID pandemic. We have the George Floyd protests break out. We have people in the town who are a bunch of white people, because this is New Mexico and the town is not very diverse. A bunch of white people protesting for Black Lives Matter who are just virtue signaling, not really understanding what they're saying. You have this Joaquin Phoenix's character's mom is like a full-blown QAnon conspiracy theorist who keeps sending him and his wife these crazy QAnon videos on the computer. You have this cult leader played by Austin Butler who's also using the pandemic to like get people to kind of buy into his worldview of how this is a message from the greater God experience of how we're treating each other and stuff like that. And you just kind of see how these different things are radicalizing people to different sides. And we essentially watch this town destroy itself from the inside out.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds intense, but really good, too.
The first 30% is quite funny. And then the movie has what I like to call the Ari Aster shock.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you both seen Hereditary, right?
Yeah.
Like, that movie's one thing until Charlie gets decapitated.
Yeah.
And then that decapitation scene, you just kind of sit there in awe, and you're just like, what the fuck was that? Right? And then, like, Midsummer is the same thing. Midsummer, you think you're in for one type of movie, and you're kind of confused about it, and then there's the part where that older woman jumps off the cliff.
Yep.
And the movie takes a really hard turn after that, but when she jumps off the cliff, you're just kind of stuck sitting there, and you're just like, what the fuck did I just see, right? Beau is Afraid is just a series of Ari Aster oh shit moments. And this one, I won't spoil it, but, like, there's one part in this movie that when it happens, you're just like, oh shit. And then the movie takes a turn. And then the movie has, like, 5 more oh shit moments. And it keeps on taking these wild turns. And you're just like, what the fuck is even going on right now? And then it ends in a very bleak ending. And I think what Ari Aster's trying to say, and this is the least spoilery way I can get into it, because I just don't want to spoil it for people, but I'll just say there's a subplot in the movie that's very tucked away in the background, but it's made aware in the first 10 minutes of the movie. And that is, there's this tech company who wants to build a server farm to produce their AI technology in Eddington. And people in the town, some people in the town don't want this server factory because it's going to drain the town of its resources. And it's kind of this plot line that's like touch and go. But by the end of that movie, there's a purpose for that. And I think what Ari Aster's trying to say is that people are being radicalized and divided by right-wing and left-wing politics through radicalization that we're getting through Instagram or through TikTok or through our social media. And who controls that? The tech companies control that. The tech companies don't care about politics. All they care about is making money, and they're making money at our expense, and they're making money at causing conflict between us, and they're making money at destroying our lives and destroying our towns and destroying our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Ari Aster is really trying to say with this movie. And when they say this movie is a good snapshot of the world we live in, I think people are taking that too literal by looking at the political divide, and I think they're missing the greater context of the exploitation that big tech is causing the common person. When you see the movie, it'll make more sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
But like that like, I will say though, the two funny gags in the movie that I'll spoil, then I'll move on. There's one part where it's inside Pedro Pascal's house, and he's like the mayor, and he's this ultra liberal mayor that's like, you know, we always gotta do the right thing, we gotta follow the policies, we gotta fight injustice and equality, we always gotta do the right thing, make sure there's enough things for everybody. And then when they're inside his house, the camera pans over, and it just reveals that he's a COVID hoarder. It's like from floor to ceiling, it's just a bunch of paper towels and toilet paper. And like,
oh my God.
It never comments on it, but it's just that visual gag. I like laughed out so loud in the theater when I saw that. Just because like it's the perfect encapsulation of that character, you know?
Yeah. And
then there's another really funny gag in the movie that involves the whole like myth of the George Soros paying Antifa to terrorize communities. That also becomes like a little subplot that's really funny too, where there's like a private jet flying into the town, and it's just masked people with guns and Antifa signs like in this private jet. Which kind of plays into the whole like Antifa conspiracy theories being paid by those rich billionaire guys. Like I thought that was really funny too.
Yeah, I like that.
But that's it for me. Matt, what about you?
Yeah. Okay. So I know you guys talked about this last week, but I did see Superman, and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it.
Kindness is punk rock.
I mean, what?
Kindness is punk rock.
Kindness is punk rock. Yes. Yeah. No. It. I love James Gunn. He's amazing, and I think I've said that for lots of his stuff that we've talked about in the past. But he's got such a cool vision and his message in there, and like all of his stuff. He usually has like his own thing he's trying to say. But no, this movie was great. This movie was great. I will preface by saying like I'm not a big Superman fan. Just I have nothing against him. That's not the kind of comics I read. But seeing this definitely like, yeah, I absolutely adored it. I did tear up a number of times. So there was that too. That was nice.
You got to read
and Crypto, the dog. Wait, what'd you say?
You need to read All-Star Superman now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know. Like, yeah. One day I'll get to them. I'll check that out. But yeah, no, I loved Crypto and just everything about it. It's great. It makes me happy. It was a blast to see. Definitely worth checking out. It's just, yeah, everything about it was great. And let's see. The other thing I will say real quick is I am currently reading, and I am going to absolutely butcher this name, so I don't even know if I should try it, but I'm reading this book called Memories of the Future by Sigizmund Krzhizhanosvsky. I'm so sorry. This is a very old book. It is. It's like, I could count it real quick. It's more letters than I have in my name. and the last name is longer than my last name, so there is that. But it is like this Sigizmund guy.
It's a Sigizmund Krzhizhanosvsky.
Yeah, there you go. You did it. Thank you. So this is like, this guy wrote all these things back like in the 1920s, and he's Russian, and apparently like the very basic, and I might get some of the details wrong, but like I don't think any of these were published. I think he just had them, and maybe they were published way back then, but they quickly got buried. And somebody found them in these archives and thought they were really good and brought them out. So it's like the New York Review books or whatever. That's the collection I'm reading of these. And he's the best way I can describe it is he's an absurdist, and he's like a lot of philosophy in this, and black humor. It's very dark comedic takes on the Russia at that time, and so it's not really horror, but there are like some elements that are kind of creepy and could be subtly horror, but these are all like the first story is about this person in a very super cramped like apartment room that like he can, like when he lays down he's touching all four walls, kind of cramped room, and somebody gives him this like cream that he could rub along his walls and that will make the room grow. And so he does it, he misses some spots, and the room kind of it keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. And like, he's trying to hide it from the landlord because he doesn't want to get in trouble for having more space than anybody else. He's also trying to figure out like
what
to do about it. Yeah, this is in the yeah. Like, a landlord has been the person owning the house that these people all are living in.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's like by the end of it, like he can't escape his room. And a lot of people compare this to Kafka's Metamorphosis. The thing is, though, like I think this came out first. And this writer had never heard of Kafka when he wrote this. So either Metamorphosis came out first, or however it worked, he didn't know that Kafka was a person or thing and something to read. But the moral of the stories are like, they're really kind of that weirdness. And there's a lot of ideas about writing and having themes to your writing, and like what happens like if you give another person your theme, and like how does that like now it's not yours anymore, or writing and like losing like metaphors and stuff like that, and just all these really cool ideas, like philosophical thoughts about writing and just what that is. And so it's kind of neat to read that from somebody and have it way back when, and just those ideas and how certain writers are only writing for a certain way, and like the true artists are doing these certain things and stuff like that, anyway, I'm loving it. It's really good. It's really cool to kind of read these. And I have been, if you've been listening for a long time, I've been digging into more different things like this. And so it's always fun to, one, find somebody new to me, and two, to kind of see these ideas and thoughts from way back when, or see these absurd ideas and how people kind of just go for their own thing. And so it's super cool. I'm almost done with it. Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that.
I haven't read this book, but I did notice that it is a New York Review book, so that's the instant buy.
Yeah,
like everything that that's fucking gold. So like,
yes,
yeah,
it's great. Memories of the Future. So that is definitely one to check out. But yeah, that's it for me.
And what about you, Vitlame?
Well, I actually went to see Akira Remastered yesterday.
Before we get to
Oh, yeah?
before we get to Akira Remastered, did you hear the good news?
What?
Taika Waititi's Akira movie is no longer happening, and Warner Brothers have lost the rights.
Oh, that's good.
I'm so happy about this.
Yeah, that's very, very good.
Anyway, I love Akira. It's so good.
Yeah, it's funny. My friend, she was telling me about like, hey, they're showing Akira Remastered in the movies now. Do you want to come? And I'm like, yeah, it's been like, I want to say almost 30 years since I saw it.
Oh, wow. That's what
wow.
I watched it 2 months ago.
No, I think I first saw it when I was a kid. I think I was 8 years old. So this is a funny story.
Oh, you share yours, I'll share mine.
Yeah. So, you know, back in the day when we had video rental stores.
Yeah.
And one of my cousins had one, which we frequently went like on almost like a weekly basis and rented out movies. And my mom told me that this time we were only allowed to rent cartoons. And my brother and I were browsing the aisles, and we came upon 2 cartoonishly looking movies. One being Akira, and the other being Three Ducks, Three Eyes, which is not really a movie. It's like a 3-part anime series.
Isn't it?
But it had...
The director of Akira did that one too? Or did one of the ones in that one?
What?
There was a 3X, 3 Eyes?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
But it was... No, it's not a movie. It's a series, but like the first 3 episodes were put in that one tape. And yeah, because it looked like a cartoon and it was really drawn pretty and like not at all like the Disney movies, my brother and I decided to take it. I rented. And I think, yeah, like I said, I think I was 8 and he was 6. And we popped Akira in the VCR. We were traumatized by it. It was, I did not expect to see so much blood in a cartoon. This was actually the first time I saw so much blood in a cartoon, like before I was properly introduced to anime. And especially the scene at the end where Tetsuo just kind of like swells up.
Oh, becomes a flesh
and
mass?
just becomes the flesh mob baby.
Kaneda!
That just really, really fucked up our heads. Yep. My brother is still talking about it till this day. And he's like, yeah, remember that scene in Akira? And I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, this is one of our many, many traumatized scenes that we watched when we were kids, like including, aliens and stuff. So yeah, this still haunts us to this day.
Yep. When I was a kid, I remember sneaking downstairs and I had turned on HBO. It was like 9:30 at night, and I see a cartoon on TV. It's Akira. I must have been about 7 or 8 years old, same age as you. And I got to the part where Tetsuo's in the military hospital, and he sees the walking toys.
Oh god, yeah, that's a fucked up scene too.
And start profusely bleeding milk.
And
I was like, no. I had nightmares for like months after seeing that.
Yep. And it's not just that. Also, just seeing the psychic kids looking really old, and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. What is happening here? They're like gray, and like they don't explain a lot of why they turned gray, and I'm like, because of the medicine, maybe? I don't know. And yeah, so I watched it yesterday, and I kept like, as I was watching, it was like, yeah, it still holds up. It's still wacky, but like it has a message. Like this is like, it has a clear message of, nuclear war and everything, and just nuclear bombs in general.
Yep.
And just kind of wrapped up in psychic children going berserk.
The manga's even better than the movie too.
Yeah, I've heard that the manga is really, really good. I haven't read it yet.
I mean, the biggest thing with the sorry to cut you off again. I just wanted to. The biggest thing with the movie is he wrote it and made it when the manga was still going on. So the movie's ending and the
that
manga's
explains a lot of
ending
things.
are two very. That's why the third act of the movie is very off the wall, and the manga actually goes in a very different direction than the movie does.
Yeah, because I remember, like, as I was watching the movie, like in the third act, suddenly they're talking about a cult of Akira, and I was like, wait, this wasn't mentioned in the first couple of minutes, or like in the beginning of the movie. Like, where is this cult? So yeah, I definitely recommend people, if you haven't seen Akira, you should definitely see it. Like, a lot of people, when I was telling people at work that I was going to see it, they had no idea what it was, and I'm like, you've probably seen the epic motorcycle slide.
Yeah, it's
Also...
and they were like, no, and I showed it to them, and they're like, oh yeah. It's like, yeah, because this is so epic that this has been referenced in tons of movies.
Also, if you listen to the South Park Trapper Keep episode, as a clear homage to Akira at the end of that episode too. When Cartman turned to the giant bio flesh mass from the Trapper Keeper, it's like a whole like Akira reference, like the whole third act of that episode.
Oh yeah, that's true. Now that you mention it. That's the only thing that I did, like, that I can pass on to.
I will say, to add on to that, Akira, like, as a plot wise, the movie's kind of really messy and doesn't fully make sense, but it's worth watching just for the animation.
Oh yeah, it's very fluid.
The animation in that movie is fucking incredible. Like, hands down, it's some of the best, and like it holds up today. Like, it's incredibly well animated.
Yeah, it really is.
I love Akira. It's one of my favorites. It's a lot of fun. It's the manga. I'd recommend reading the manga. It's really good. The manga gets into a lot of things a bit more with, like, the motorcycle gangs, and like there's a whole thing with Tetsuo after he comes across with, like, the psychic kid and unlocks the psychic powers within him. Tetsuo, for like part of the comic, becomes a drug addict. Like, he literally starts his own motorcycle gang and enslaves a harem of women and just, like, starts doing all the drugs to, like, numb this pain that's like causing him. And Kaneda is trying to, like, talk him down and stop him, and he's like, this isn't you, this isn't who you are. And Tetsuo can't think of anything because the psychic powers are causing him so much pain that he's just constantly popping pills nonstop until the government takes him in.
That makes sense, because in the movie, he is like in the third act, before he goes full flesh baby blob thing, he is like screaming for medicine.
Yeah, no, in the manga, he's like a full-blown drug addict just because the drugs stop the pain from the powers that have been awakened in him.
Yeah, they were pumping him full of medicine in the movie because to curb his powers.
Like, there's a part in the manga where, like, he beats the fuck out of that clown motorcycle gang and makes them subservient to him so they can just give him drugs. So
they made him, like, the manga made him more nefarious than in the movie.
Also, I have to put this up there for both your benefit and Matt's benefit. There's also a creative art project that's free to read online called Bart Kira. It's a full retelling of Akira using Simpsons characters.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's actually really good. Like, they did a good job, like that together. But I'd recommend, like, if you're into Akira and you're into The Simpsons, like, Bart Kira is such a good, like, project to check out, because it's really creative and it's really fun, but it's also really faithful both to The Simpsons and to Akira. So I'd recommend that as well. I'm a fucking nerd.
I love it.
Just to put that out there.
Nothing wrong with that.
I was just looking. The remaster isn't coming to American theaters yet, but I hope they do get the rights to put it out here, because I would totally see it.
I mean, there were a lot of people. Yeah, there were a lot of people seeing, like, in the audience. Like, I thought there would be, a lot less than I thought, but we were a lot, and they actually added a few more shows too.
Like, the only like anime stuff we're getting in theaters right now is we're getting a new screening of My Neighbor Totoro for the Ghibli Fest. We're getting a Tokyo Ghoul movie.
Okay.
We're getting.
I thought the craze was so over.
Me too, but apparently it's not. We're getting a new release of Summer Wars, which I.
Oh, Summer Wars is so good.
Summer Wars is really good. We're also getting. Oh hell yeah! We're getting Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh god.
Good. I need to be depressed.
Yeah, I need to watch Japanese kids die of radiation poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also re-releasing Shin Godzilla in 4K.
Nice.
Which I know you're a Godzilla person, Matt. Have you ever seen Shin Godzilla?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, I love that one. I think that one's underrated.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
But we should move on from talking about the awesomeness that is Akira and get into this story of Sword and Sorcery.
Yes. Yes, we should.
Which, like, it's
so
funny,
yeah.
I know you've been on a big Sword and Sorcery kick recently, Matt.
I have. I've been on a huge one. So this was like right up my alley. And it's cool. I was just it totally fits into this concept, just like this it's a tight story, very clear what's taking you from here to there, and like Sasha Brown, who wrote this, great person, by the way.
I never even heard of her before.
He's super cool. So this story, Pain Wins, it's basically a group of, it doesn't even describe it, but since it's sword and sorcery, they're probably barbarian type of people.
Yeah, it gave me
barbarians living in the Ice Age.
Yeah, Ice Age. They have no food. Our main character has a child, and that's all he can keep. Like, that's his focus. And a wizard shows up and takes the kid. That is the basic plot of this story, and then it's amazing.
To find his kid from the sorcerer.
Yeah.
I love how none of the characters have names. So their names are just like their facial attributes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have bad teeth and bad face and moss teeth.
Makes me think perfect. What the narrator would have been called.
Right.
Footless?
That is a great question.
I also find it interesting how the kid, like, because we don't get the name, like the age of the kid.
Yeah.
Or the child, but the child is still like emotionally mature enough to just, kind of berate his own father, like, dude, what the fuck? Why aren't you getting us meat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why the fuck aren't you providing?
It's a really great look at, like, both the difficulties it is to be a provider in, like, that era, but also this idea of, like, that no matter how much pain you can endure as a person, it doesn't make you enough to be a father or to raise a family. And enduring pain can only get you so far.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's like that. I mean, the title says it, but that's like the main, like, thread throughout is what pain, how how to use pain and what pain can do to you. And so I think that like, and it perfectly encapsulates this type of, you know, barbarian sword and sorcery concept. Like, again, like you said, I've been reading a ton of it, and like now a lot of the sword and sorcery stories now are digging into more like in-depth kind of things and putting a little bit more into it, which is really cool to see. But like when you read the older stuff, it really literally is just like that's all they deal in is pain.
Yeah.
And so like taking in this, and then like, I mean, it's a short story, and I know like we might spoil it, but basically just like how if your motto is like pain is the thing, that's how you know you'll win a fight, is you can handle more pain than the other person. It's like, but did you win? No.
Yeah.
You didn't. So like, maybe it's still. Oh, go ahead.
I almost get into spoilers. It's such a short story. It's hard to talk without even spoiling it anyway. I just love the part where he's first trapped and he's like, I can get out of this trap. Just cut my fucking leg off with an axe.
Yes.
And he said like, this is like, and it wasn't sorcery, this is just clever. And then he just kind of turns to the sorcerers like, I can be clever too, bitch, and cuts off his leg.
He's like, whoop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the other fun.
No, sorry.
Oh, sorry. You go. I was just gonna say like the other fun flip of the coin of this like barbarianness and this just pain is you do have this like sorcerer magician person who does count on using something other than just punching and kicking and stabbing and just seeing like the two sides, and honestly, and who wins, magic is the winner.
Yeah. I love too how the story plays it as if the sorcerer is just a name, and it's like, oh, he's just doing a trick, and then when it reveals like he can treat the guy like a voodoo doll, essentially, if he was breaking the guy's fingers and stuff like that. It's like, oh, this dude
breaking his own fingers.
Yeah, he's breaking his own fingers. As he's breaking his own fingers, the guy's fingers are also breaking. So he's just like, fuck you.
It's yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I noticed in the writing that, you know, this is told in the first person perspective. And usually when you're in, you know, that person's head, you kind of are usually, you're usually getting all of the senses from that person, but there's not a lot of it in this one, and I think it has to do with the fact that he's a barbarian, so he doesn't really put a lot of things into his head.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think also with the writing being simple is it also works for him because he's like a simple-minded barbarian type person. So
exactly. So I thought that was kind of clever to put into as well, because I was kind of moaning when I was first reading it. I was like, you know, this is the first person. I kind of want to know what you're feeling here. And then once I finished reading the story and digested it, I was like, no. You don't have to, because he's a barbarian and just going through the motions. And as we've been discussing, going through pain is what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about that too, because it's all very short sentences. I mean, there's some longer ones, but most of it's really short. And I think that really does tell you like so much about the narrator and even like whatever this group is like. And it's very focused on eating and pain and getting what was yours. So I think that I think you're exactly right. It tells you so much on it by not telling us like his deeper thoughts of like what it means. Like, it's just a very short line in the beginning is like, the only thing of my mates that I still have is the child. And I was like, it, like, you have no more thoughts on who the mate was or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's an interesting kind of look at what this person is like.
But also this might be my interpretation of this, but as I was, like I said before, that with the child's emotional maturity, you know, how he kind of was talking to his father in this kind of tone, I think it is a clever, subtle foreshadowing to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because you kind of feel like that at the end, like the child is like, I don't want to be a part of this shit anymore because you guys are not giving me the protection that I need and the actual stuff that I need to survive. So
yeah,
I might go somewhere else, which he does in the end.
I think the child was definitely, like, I'd say probably teenage years, maybe a little bit younger than teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love how, like, I just love the ending of the story and how it's just, like, our character tries so far, but this idea of being able to endure pain can only take you so far.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's just, like, once he realizes...
Well, and... I was just going to say, like, sorry, I was just thinking kind of like on what you were saying, Vitlame, and one way to look at it too is the child actually learned, like, to do all of this from his dad, of just this simple idea of dad's not providing, I need to get something, this magician is providing, or sorcerer is providing, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be just as brutal as my dad, just using a different tool. So anyway, I was just thinking of what you were saying, and I was like, yeah, you're right. It's like this total way of his just he's just doing what his dad would have done probably at the same time.
Yeah,
exactly. And
because they even with the foreshadowing too, they even at one point when that sorcerer first shows up, I can't remember, I think it might have been Moss Teeth, was like, hey, we could eat him. So like they were already like on the road of eating people.
But yeah, I mean, the father kind of provided at the end, you know, if you know what I mean.
Yes, he did. Oh my god, right. That's so funny. Yeah.
But one thing I do love about the ending of this too is just like the horror of the realization of what happens.
Yes.
When like he wakes up and he's just like, the sorcerer is still alive, and then the son is just like, you couldn't even stop my mother from dying on the ice. And then when he tries to raise his hand, his arms are gone, and he realizes that his son has been eating his own body.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a brutal ending to like this story that was really well done.
Yeah, it was perfect.
No, like I love me a good.
No, I had a blast.
Sorcery. Like,
yes, definitely.
I've been getting into trying to write Sword and Sorcery, and like Old Moon Publishing is like one of the magazines I've been trying to get. But they're a harder market to get into. Old Moon Quarterly.
Yeah.
I do know that I know, what is it? What's their name? Elsie von Hessen?
Yes.
They're trying to get into Old Moon. I think they might have gotten an acceptance. Laird Barron has a story in Volume 8 of Old Moon.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, like, they're getting some big hitters, and they're getting, like, John Langan's also in issue Volume 8. You got John Langan and Laird Barron. Like, they're getting
that's super cool.
They're getting some big authors, and they're getting some really interesting things. And I just think it's cool that we're getting this medium kind of coming back. I feel like, because I feel with fantasy and with like fantasy stories, and I know you read fantasy sometimes, Matt, and same with you, Vitlame.
Mm-hmm.
I think fantasy has become too overblown. It's like, to get invested in a fantasy series or a fantasy story is such a big ask these days. It's like, what, you're going to have 7 books that are 700 plus pages each?
Yeah.
Right? And it's like...
Would you just pad it with filler?
Yeah, and then if you think of, like, the roots of the genre, like, okay, let's leave Tolkien aside, right? Because Tolkien's kind of his own beast. But if you put Tolkien to the side and you think about the roots of fantasy, Conan the Barbarian, right? You have fucking Solomon Kane. You have Elric Melbourne. You have all these short stories of just sword and sorcery battles. And, like, they were simple, they were fun, they were contained, they were quick. They weren't overblown, they weren't overwrought, they weren't these really big quests. They were gritty, they were in your face, and they were great. And I think we're getting a return to that. I think people are kind of getting tired of this overblown, overwrought fantasy, and we're getting back to this more simpler sword and sorcery. I feel like it's a response to the direction fantasy had been going in.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope so. It's been just I hate blaming other genres for this, but I feel like the romantasy genre is kind of part to blame for this.
I mean, it's before romantasy. I think romantasy kind of really pushed it, and I enjoy some romantasy. Like, I think Legends and Lattes was a fun book.
Oh yeah.
Like, I enjoy some romantasy, but I think what's the Court of
Oh, Sarge Maas?
Yeah, I feel like those are just not good. And I think they don't do the genre any favors.
No.
But it's also, like, I think of, like, I'll try to be this quick. We're going to have to wrap soon. I think of, like, Patrick Rothfuss, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never read King Killer. I don't know if either of you tried to read the King Killer Chronicles. I tried, and I quit within 50 pages. I couldn't do it. But people swear by those books, right? Book 2 came out in 2011. We still haven't gotten book 3.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's true.
Right? And, like, book 1 and book 2 are both, like, 650 plus pages.
Mm-hmm.
And you just leave the audience on the fucking cliffhanger? And I mean, I don't know Patrick Rothfuss. I'm not trying to be a dick, but, like, he keeps on teasing the audience, and it's not cool. Like, I think we're getting a response to unfinished fantasy series, overblown fantasy series that go on too long, because this has been a problem in the genre for a while. It's like, if I go back into the 80s, right, my favorite fantasy series from the 80s, and I'd recommend both of you read these books, and that is Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn by Tad Williams.
Oh, yeah.
It is an incredible trilogy of fantasy books, and you know what? It's a fucking trilogy. He has a sequel series that's been put out recently, but that's whatever. That's a sequel series, right? But the core trilogy was just 3 books. That's all you needed. Now we're getting, like, 14, 15, 16 book series. You have Brandon Sanderson doing this whole Cosmere shared universe where, like, you have to read all the fucking books to get the references in the Cosmere, and, like, it's just too much. It's expecting so much out of your audience. And I think we're moving away from... Like, fantasy should tell a serious story. Fantasy can tackle serious issues, but it should also be fun. It should be entertaining.
Exactly.
It should,
I agree.
It should not be a fucking drag, right? And I think stuff like this is a return to form for the genre.